stupid.
This is your spoiler
Pew, 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 pew.
review.
Like,
Review. You know what's really weird is that I want to say spoiler free because we are giving away free spoilers.
yeah. Yeah, no, it is free.
Free.
We're just throwing them out.
This is called The Deuce. It's the follow-up to the first episode. This is where we get down and dirty with Monitor. This is where we get into the pages, into the lines, where we read between those lines and we tell you what we feel, and we discuss with those people who have read the book a little more freely.
Yep.
So guys, get yourself comfortable in your favorite lazy chair. Pour yourself a nice cup of Joe, and let's talk Monitor.
I'm ready.
Hollis,
I'm ready to talk it.
What's going on?
Hey,
I guess we don't have to go through what this book is about.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Let's talk about for the Netrunner people here.
Yes.
What are some of the cool things in this book that we did not talk about in the first one?
Some cool things that we haven't already talked about that are in this book that are spoilers.
Spoilers.
So we mentioned Jackson Howard. We mentioned our three friends.
Check.
Let's see. So here's some other names that come up. You ready?
Yeah.
Victoria Jenkins. How about that?
Boom.
How about my girl Victoria?
It's going to be one big name drop here.
Yeah. How about I don't even want to say her name. Jameson, say her name. You know, the one that is exactly like we thought she would be.
Carol.
Carol, that's interesting. Jameson, who's Carol, Jameson?
Oh, Carol works at MegaBuy.
Oh, really? MegaBuy? It sounds familiar. I think I know someone else that works at MegaBuy.
Everyone's favorite anarch, Max.
Oh, Max. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
if you heard the first episode, Max is written so cool. She is exactly what I pictured her off the card. She comes in here at the beginning, and it's so funny when she's just this Carol from MegaBuy, and all this, these kids are these little activists, and it's funny because they're like the wannabe activists.
Yeah, wannabe activists.
What do they? It calls it in the book slacktivists.
Slacktivists, yes.
They're slacktivists. And it's funny because they go, they find this pad, and they want to hack into it and stuff like that, and crack into these servers, and they go to work, and they all work at MegaBuy, and Carol is there, and they ask her, they're like, Carol, do you know where we can get some used, hacking gear? And she basically just tells them to F right off, like, don't bug. Why would I know? Pff, get out of here.
How presumptuous of you
to
think that I would be of that ill, I don't know, that ill character. But, she knows, though. She knew the whole time.
She knew it was going down. And then she, comes back later on. And because I thought that was just like, oh, this is a cool little Easter egg drop. They're like, oh, Carol from MegaBuy. And you're like, while you're reading this book as a Netrunner player, you're like, hey, that's Max. That's kind of cool. Maybe nobody, maybe nobody will pick up on that. Maybe some people will pick up on that. Fun times. But then later it's revealed that it actually is Max, and Max comes back. And it's so cool because it's like Max is that total punk rock. I don't really give a care about you. Yep. But if I help you, it screws over this person, so or the corporation. So I'm going to do that. And you really Max really plays a big part in this coming in.
Yes.
You see how Max is living. I would, Lee, I would love you to write the next Max book. The way that this character was set up, and developed, I want to see more from her. I think it's so cool that she's got that drop apartment, right? Like maybe her dad pays for a rich apartment down at, what was it, Archaeological 7 or something like that, or but just what a What a prick.
Like, yeah, I mean, her flavor text. Remember, guys, her flavor text is "F you, mother," F.
Yeah.
And like, so you read that and you're like, all right, maybe she's just being like this hardcore kid for no reason, just being rude. But like, as you understand more about Max, not even really understand more about Max, as you see her character in the book and how she's written, you'll go, oh no, that's really her. She really does not give a shit, to the point of saying, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care about your story. Don't care. Sorry, don't care.
And then they're like, but no, not having it.
Yeah.
Shut up. Sit over there. Eat your little lunch and watch your YouTube video.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how it's treated. And I think that what they do a pretty good job of also they do kind of a good job also of showing a bit more about Max's character. Not only in the things not necessarily the things she refuses to listen to or things she refuses to do, but in the things she does do. We get the sense of the kind of runner she is and how dedicated she is to the craft, because the point she makes to Lana is, I did what I did because there's something bigger than you that is important to me. You are a means to an end, and while I don't wish for your destruction, I don't care to help you. I have my own agenda. And that to me says a lot, because think about what it does. Think about thematically what that means about Max. Think about it. Max destroys 2 of her own resources just to draw 1. See that? See that?
Yeah.
See how that plays into it? She's like, you know what? I'm burning a bridge. Honestly, I don't care about burning the bridge. I need to get this done.
Yeah,
this is super important.
And that's what happened, because her location got compromised, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right? So she burned that whole safe place.
Yep.
But she was already pulled out at the time, right?
Yeah.
So that was really, really cool. But very, very thematic tie into the card. Boom. Point for Hollis. Hollis, what's another cool spoiler? Unless you wanted to say more about Max's character, but
oh no, we're good. I think people will love reading about Max.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit with Jackson Howard. Man, what a talkative douchebag, and I love it. I didn't want to say this in the last episode, but he's the kind of guy that he basically interrupts you from talking. Like every opportunity he gets to stop you is what he'll be explaining. He'll ask you a question, and then you'll begin answering it, and you'll get honestly near the tail end of finishing the explanation, and then he'll jump in. And not only does he jump in and interrupt you, it's the words he uses when he says, "Listen, friend."
Yeah, calls everyone the friend.
And that, man, if you want to piss me off, dude, I can't think of a single person that would not really get legitimately pissed off if every time they were interrupted, they went, "Listen, friend. Hey, buddy. Hey, neighbor." Like that would, because it's patronizing, right? It's almost patronizing.
Yeah.
It's like, really? All right, so, alrighty. Like, such,
you know what it reminds me of too is that big boss at work, right? That doesn't know your name, so everybody's like buddy or guy or but he's like, "Hey friend, well, why don't you got to bring your numbers up a little this month, bring your you're not quite hitting your mark, neighbor." Right? Should we review your performance reviews?
And what's funny the whole time is Bex is like, "No, I've reviewed them already. I know what I review them every day. Thanks. I know what they mean. I know what they say." And he's like, "Okay, we're just making sure that And it was like every suggestion that Bex could give that she thought, it was one of those scenarios where he always had something better than what he was leading to. So he would almost be ready to make a suggestion, and Bex would try to be this motivated person that she is and cut him off and say, "Well, actually, this is the plan I have in place, and I think it's really going to..." And as she would say that, he would jump in, "Well, I think actually that we have different data than what you would expect.
Yeah.
Let me explain why you should do this differently." And it was very, every single time, Bex felt like she was being
belittled,
Yeah, every single time she felt like she was being belittled. And it was so...
And she's just like, "Let me just talk to Victoria."
Yeah. And he's like, no.
You got me.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
So I'll jump to the next one. The other thing cool that I thought, spoilers from this book. I love the places that some of it talks about. So these, they're Breaker Bay graduates. It talks about, Rutherford Square. One of the cool ones I liked that they kept referring to was Arcology 7.
Yeah.
As their apartments that they lived in. And all I could think of was the tie-in was from Creation and Control, the Haas Arcology AI, and there's those two big, like, at first I just look at the card back when it came out, just two big towers.
Yeah.
And now you look at it as like, oh man, those are like apartment buildings and people are living in there, and then the Arcology AI is what's running the towers, right? So Haas Bayreuth is doing like kind of like a little, building and apartment maintenance kind of thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Like they
you know which one I'm talking about, right? Like the
where there's a giant like sort of
the skyscraper that's lit up.
Yeah, it helps you with advanced
towers,
right?
man.
Yeah, like I feel like they fleshed out, not really even fleshed out. They used locations that we haven't seen, we haven't heard much about.
Yeah.
Like we know Breaker Bay Grid is a thing, but why? Why are all assets in there that are getting reduced by 5? I don't know. We know that we know about Rutherford Square, and if you go look, I'm going to pull it up now. Give me a second. If I type in Rutherford Grid. Yeah, here we go, man. If I type in Rutherford Grid, what you see is like a large, like you basically see skyscrapers, but you see a long line of this visual city where there's like a lot of advertisements, like a video screen, flashing lights, and it feels very much like, they actually make it to this location in the book, and it feels very much like this, where they talk about how busy it is, or people they're near the square, they're walking in the street. And there's just video. There's this video. Video. There's monitors. There's literally large monitors like Times Square, just everywhere.
Yeah, and great tie-in with the card, right?
Right. Exactly. Like they make it seem like a busy metropolis.
Yeah, because the base strength of each trace is increased by 2, right? So like
yeah.
they can find you, man. They can find you because there's so many cameras there. There's so many eyes there. The vid screens that are all over the place.
Exactly. Yeah, that's great. I mean, yeah, great observation. That's definitely
really cool. I don't know when this book was written, like what the card pool was like, but I think probably some of the secrets were spoiled over. Some other cool things from MBN that come into play is Sync. Sync just came out in the last recently in the big box.
Yeah.
As an MBN identity, so that's kind of in there, and Sync does the whole data collection and monitoring and stuff like that division.
Yeah. And you know what? They kind of made a tie that I didn't expect. It seems like, because here's another quick spoiler: Bernice Mai's in the book.
Yes,
and it seems like Bernice is part of the Sync branch, almost like she is responsible for looking at all the data, because Bex is sort of the director, and it looks like, based on how I read it, Bernice is sifting through the data and doing her best to find juicy things and then moving it to Bex as she's requesting it. And all of the data is flagged by Sync. So either Bernice is a member of that Sync subgroup, or she's just directly tied to all the info that's flagged by Sync.
Yeah, because they're like, we need this info, and Bernice is like, here's the file you need, right? Here's this shit.
Yeah, really, really fast. Which, again, if you've ever seen the Bernice My card, I'm literally Googling these.
Yeah, get it up.
Yeah, like if you look at the Bernice My card, look at the way it's kind of designed. She's sitting around with different data screens all around her, literally sifting through data. Her flavor text is keeping tabs on the world, one screen at a time.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely I'd say she ties in with Sync.
Right.
She's part of that MBN Sync division.
For sure. Just looking at all this data, got him. Know where you are. Yeah. All right, got this.
So you got the Bernice Mai tie-in spoiler. I got a very, very subtle spoiler that when it dropped, I was just like, damn. So what I thought was really cool was they're jacking in, right? So they've got this stolen pad and they're going into the NBN servers, right?
Yes.
And they're actually jacked in through brain nets into the web, and they make their way. They just about to get there. They see the file. They're gonna grab it. They reach out to grab it, and all of a sudden they hear this raven.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then right then and there, I was like, they didn't do it. They didn't get away. They just hit a data raven protecting that server.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because it just says that, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh damn, they just been traced.
Yep.
Right?
And what's funny about that is that it literally, again, I don't have to pull that up. We know what data raven does, right?
Yeah.
In the run,
tags you, man.
Tags you immediately. No matter what you do, when you encounter it, either you want to grab the info and get tagged, or not, right?
Yeah. And then they didn't get away with it, right? So that starts the whole
So
thing.
good.
So I was like, oh, that's really sly.
Yeah.
Right.
Really well done.
Yeah, because they're like, I think because in the end of the chapter, I think they were saying like, I think we got away with it. We did it. And I was like, nah, you guys hit a data raven. You're screwed. You're screwed, man.
You got traced and tagged. You definitely got tagged minimally. Yeah. Like you at least got tagged. They saw you. And you know what's funny about that? That's a really good scene to bring up in the book. In general, I thought that was a really, really good example because they make jumps all the time they make jumps often between characters, right? And that was to me one of the best jumps because they do this thing and they're like, guys, I think we made it. And then the very next scene is Bex going into detail about her new idea for a show, and she's like, "They thought they got away with it, they didn't." And we're like, and when I read that, I was like, "Oh God, like here we go, it's on!" Like, so and that of course that entire event sparks the drama that ensues afterward, and I'm so impressed with how. That's the thing. I'm actually really impressed with how they continue the story the way they did. Because I honestly did not expect it to really be a new show pitch. That fact blew my mind completely. In fact, the way she pitched it was very interesting. The way Rebecca Gleason pitched it was incredibly interesting as well. She seems like a really good speaker. Like an amazing speaker. She's good at what she does. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Definitely good at what she does.
Anything else stand out in the book for you, Hollis, that is kind of spoilery?
Technically, I mean this isn't really. I mean, I guess this is a spoiler. So in the original, in the basic art for Jackson Howard, right? We see him sitting at a table.
Oh, and, I hope you don't steal mine. Oh, okay,
no.
Go, keep going.
No, actually, yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting at a table.
He's sitting at a table, and there's a ton of stuffed animals that are all around him. I think I know what you're about to say, though. If it's not this. There's a ton of stuffed animals around him, and they do a pretty good job of bringing these animals to life in the book. Like, these animals are now part of a different group, and I can't remember the name of it.
Sunshine Junction?
Yeah, the Sunshine Junction like animals. And basically they're a market. It's a kids TV show. I think what I would think of it as, think of like Teletubbies, sort of. But or like Barney maybe. It's meant to teach a lesson to the kids, and they have like unique names like
what was the other one with Broby?
I know the main one is Diversity Otter. There's so many. They have so many names. But they're basically all part of a kids television show. And
Yo Gabba Gabba is what I kept thinking.
Oh, Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, that's right. Like all just the little made up little characters.
Ah,
right?
I got you. Oh my God. So they do a pretty good job of bringing those characters to life, and they make what you look at Jackson's card and you're like, what the heck is this? And I know that why does he have all these stuffed animals at his desk? And I know that they've expanded a little bit about these animals, right? Like if you go back, if you look at there's a card called Invasion of Privacy. There's like a stuffed animal with like a light in its eye. They cover that. Like something like that comes up in the book. When you look at Dinosaurus.
Oh, that's the line, man. I was gonna say I can't believe that Jackson Howard created the Dinosaurus, man.
Oh,
Chaos Theories console, KCT, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. You know what else is funny? So again, I keep.
So that little stuffed animal dinosaur, whatever it was, they're not really stuffed animals. They're animatronic little devices and stuff like that, because they interact and you fully communicate with them, right? Like it's like this diversity otter that Lara has in the book. It goes back and forth in like a full out conversation. Yeah, sorry, Lana. It has full conversations like, hey, I can do this for you. I can help you in this kind of way. I can do this for you. Come on, we're friends, aren't we? We're friends, aren't we? But you can see this little creature develop its own personality, right? Where she starts sending out little netcasts, and it broadcasts it out for her with parental controls on, so they can't trace her back to her location where she's hiding out. But she's able to get her message out and say, like, don't trust this stuff, don't trust this stuff. There's always somebody watching, blah, blah, blah. And this little creature is developing its AI is building. And to the point where they turn on the screens, and there's an activist meeting, and there's people destroying these Sunshine Junction characters, and then Diversity Otter sees it, and he's like, I don't understand. Why are they killing these people? Why? I don't want to die. I don't want you to turn me off. I don't want you to turn me off. And then that little damn thing narked on her. Boom!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's interesting also because it kind of plays into what we see often in the Android universe, right? We see that there's this AI that's created, and the AI begins to sort of, I don't know if you ever read Gollum, which, obviously isn't Monitor, but Gollum was, long story short, in order to be able to make a borrowed brain, you have to have a mind map first. And you're supposed to delete everything in that mind map and then implant new things. Like directives or whatever, operations. And so it's common in the Android universe that animatronics, androids, these creatures that aren't real begin to have a space. They begin to think like a human would. Self-preservation becomes an important aspect to them. And that ending is, it turns Diversity Otter. And it's funny because I think she does a good job of making it really subtle, because Diversity Otter is scared. Right, like it's so interesting. Like, I did not expect that last minute turn. I did not. No way, no how. Did not expect it. No way. So good, so good.
What about some other stuff, Hollis? So you got Jackson, and he's sitting there with all his stuffed animal, or it's not. Keep calling them stuffed animals, but there's his friends in his office, and it's exactly like that card. Victoria Jenkins, she kind of pops up a little bit. We talked about Max and the locations. Let's talk about the three characters, the three friends, right? The Slacktivist and Bex. I thought they were really well presented, to the point where I kind of wish that, or hope that maybe we see Bex. Maybe we see the way to continue this story is that Bex gets a card created for her in the game down the way, so we can see something. Obviously, if you're listening to this, this is the spoiler, so I'm going to say it right now at the end. So, she does end up with NBN. So it'd be cool to get, an NBN asset card with Bex. I mean, they already have the artwork drawn for her. So I don't know what the powers would be. I don't know what, but I mean, I think that would be a cool little extension tie-in, right? So, the book pulls from the game. Now the game can pull from the book, right? So a little give and take from departments there at FFG.
And I mean, it might be fun to talk about, but so Bex Gleason, what would her card do?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe let's do this as a side note. We'll try and think of something, but let's maybe run an official contest somehow.
Yeah, that sounds like a neat idea. Yeah. Like that, I think that knowing what, man, like or even let's say Diversity Otter was a card. Like what would Diversity Otter's card do? Like, it's just so interesting to me that I would want Rebecca Gleason, based on the fact that we, like you said, often what happens is, especially in the case of Monitor, right? We already have content, and the book is written, and they can pull content from the existing IP. So Rebecca Gleason, I don't think we've ever heard of her, have we?
No, she's fully made up from the mind of Lee Alexander.
And so, I mean, why not pull that character into the Android universe, working for NBN? And if she's in there, what the heck does she do? We already know that she's really, really good at designing television that gets audiences entranced. So how do you do that? What does that card do? Contest, damn it. Design it.
We'll think of something. We'll think of some prize, something or other. Mm-hmm. I don't know what yet, or but send us either post on our Facebook page or in the comments here. What's your best card tie-in with this book? Whether it, I'd like to see it just be a Bex Gleason card. Let's see your Bex Gleason. Yeah. But if you got some other ideas out there, if you're like Hollis and want 3x of Diversity Otter in your deck.
3x Diversity Otter, man's OP.
Yeah, is that going to be when Dinosaur cycles out?
Yeah, I mean,
Diversity Otter comes in.
I mean, you might as well.
I don't want.
You might as well. You might as well have them all in the game.
I don't want that little whiny otter in my deck. I'll tell you that.
Hey, friend.
Hey, friend.
Also, did you also notice that parallel? What's the name of
Junction?
The Sunshine Junction characters? They all speak like Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that's intentional. Like, because he seems to have an ego, right?
Probably.
Like, he seems to.
NBN's all about the neighbor, right? Like they always say, the neighbors. Hey, neighbors. Mr.
He definitely
Rogers.
has an ego.
So then, Hollis, just speaking freely then, in summary, so anything else stand out from you?
That's like a spoilery. Not so much.
Or just like you can talk a little more looser here in this side.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so, well, I'm gonna just lay it out there. So, like, my biggest complaint is that Lana actually fills a role that I personally don't like. And I hate to say that, but it's she's a young whippersnapper and it's her mentality that sort of bothers me. She's living a life where basically her education has been paid for, her living arrangements are being paid for. Pretty much, there's not a lot of struggle in her life, short of going to work and doing things that are necessary for you to contribute to society. Her problem is that she uses her freedom to take a stance against something she disagrees with. There's nothing wrong with taking a stance. But it's also about her current place rubs me the wrong way in taking that stance. Because she isn't a self-sufficient person. And it's very difficult for me as someone who is, because I am passionate about certain things, it's very difficult normally to take someone very seriously that says they're passionate about something when they aren't used to the quote-unquote the struggle. They haven't really had to work hard or deal with other stressors that a lot of people may have to deal with. And I'm not necessarily saying that's required to understand someone else's plight or to support a movement, but it definitely adds weight to your motive for supporting it. And I think they make a good job of making it clear her involvement is very much her being bored. Like, her involvement is very much like, well, I have these friends, and they're kind of into it, and I don't really have everything else going on. I'm not really happy.
Yeah, I like when Max kind of sums it all up when she's like, I just wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to do something. And Max is like, why don't you just buy people on your line lunch for the week? Like, you know, like you're out of your league right now. You're way out of your league.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she does say that, right? Yeah. She basically says like if all you cared about was doing something nice, you could have chosen anything that wasn't the most illegal thing possible.
Yeah.
Like there were better ways, way better ways for you to handle what you're doing. And you know, I think Max is right in that, you know, in that instance, you know, like there was definitely a much better way. In my opinion, there was definitely a much better way for all that to be handled. And they very much, you know, her and her friends, you know, Johnny and Tim, they all jumped the gun, and you know, trying to get things done. And it, you know, they all struggled as a result.
Where's Johnny?
Poor Johnny. Alrighty. Oh man,
where is he? Is he like? I touched a little bit about on it in the non-spoiler episode where we want to see where these people go. Man, I need someone to tell me, is Johnny alive? Did those guys beat him? Did they just beat the hell out of him? Johnny
didn't make it.
Johnny done make it?
Johnny does not make it, fam. I believe the actual line is like, I want to make it also clear that this is important to know. Bex is a psychopath. Because when questioning Lana about what everything that's happened, Bex is laughing at what's happened to Johnny. And she's directly caused it. Like, she literally explains, why do you think they did that to him? Do you think it's because of this, or this? Do you think it's because he's a snake? Or do you think it's because he betrayed you or betrayed the network? Or maybe they thought like he was a spy? Like, she literally is laying out every reason as to why Johnny didn't make it. And she doesn't care.
But I don't think they really come out and say, like, Johnny's dead. They still leave it. They still leave it to, like,
it's a little ambiguous. It's a little ambiguous. However, Lana does say, Lana says, "You killed my friend."
Yeah.
And while Bex doesn't say she killed him, I don't believe. I could check the last X pages, but I can't really do it live. Like, she says, "You killed my friend." I don't recall if Bex actually acknowledges that he's dead. I think she just says, "Hey, I mean,
it happens.
It happens.
Shit happens, man."
It makes me feel. I mean, Johnny was unique because Johnny, like you said, he was the YouTube guy, or just in general, the guy that had the full bright-eyed wonder of the internet.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to see because Tim seemed to have the connections. You know, he seemed to get like the guy like, hey, I got a sick mom, but when they needed it, the brain nets and shit like that, he's the guy that like went and procured everything. You know, went and got everything, jacked them up. Really, really cool.
Definitely. Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I think the story takes something simple like, you know, a couple kids in over their head. And just runs with it.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
You know, if you didn't watch the first one and you're just hitting now, this has to be the best Android universe story so far. I'm really looking forward to what Dan has done with Reyna. It was so nice to look at these four characters. Like I said, the three friends and Bex on this side. Unknown characters kind of get flushed out and inputted into the story. They interact really well enough that we're saying, hey, Bex should be in the Netrunner game. But I'm excited to see where Dan takes Reyna in the next one. I assume it's maybe, you know, about her because she's on the cover and stuff like that, right? But
you would assume, right?
I mean, you know, look at this one here. I didn't expect Max to make an appearance in this, but lo and behold.
Yep. I didn't expect that either. When I did first see Max, I thought it was just a very temporary thing. I thought it was literally just like oh, she's here, and they would never talk to her again.
Just drop that Easter egg, right?
Yeah.
Guys, if you have not yet ordered this book, have it on order. I really encourage you to go out pick it up. I know that if you're actually spending the time to listen to Netrunner podcasts, you're a fan of the game. You know, let's call a spade here. And if you're a fan of the game, you're going to be a fan of this book. I can pretty much BP guarantee it.
Yeah, likewise. it was amazing to see. It was amazing with so few pages how she was able to move. And Jameson, you mentioned this, like, you know, we're in that era now where privacy is like a big deal now.
Yeah.
Like, where literally everybody's connection to all apps is through a single what is it, like, I think it's called a federation login, where it's like, it's everyone's logging into Facebook for all the other apps. That's how everybody's logging in. So what happens when, like, a company like Facebook has all that information, and they can just, you've already signed all these waivers, these terms of agreement that say, hey, they can use that information for these XYZ reasons to do XYZ things, and you're a slave to that. And it's funny, you don't feel like a slave, but in this case,
yeah, because they said in the book, right? Like, everybody has accepted and agreed of the terms and conditions about living in your apartment, working at, you know, this certain job, you know, living in this certain neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, like, what happens when you install something on your computer? Where are we at the point now where something is going to be in there? You know, is Instagram, when you put it on your phone, it's like, hey, you know, if you download this, you know, we own your pictures, you know,
yep.
right? Like,
all of your pictures we have access to, we can use them.
Yeah, we can do what we want. All of a sudden, you know, you're the poster boy for Instagram, and you're not getting anything for it.
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, we're very close to this kind of stuff being a reality. So, it's it hits home. It's the right time for a novel like this.
Let me tell you what I think would also be interesting. Are you ready, Jameson?
Yeah.
Given the fact that we know what happens with Lana, I think it would be interesting if she had 2 cards. A runner and a corp card. Wouldn't that be nuts? That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Like, it would be crazy if she had both a runner and a corp card. That's me. I think it would be good.
That's interesting there, man.
It'd be neat. It'd be,
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, okay. I see. Very neat. Yeah. FFG, I don't know if you're ever going to listen to this. If you are listening to this, oh my God, please do these things. I would love to see Lana as a corp and a runner card. Make her a flip.
Just trying to...
Just flip her. Like Sync. Just flip. Just flip it. So good.
The other side would have to do something to flip it back. It'd be like a ping pong game.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I think that would be cool. Right?
Oh, that would be neat.
You don't get to flip it. The other side, like, has to. The person you're playing against has to trigger the flip.
Oh, that'd be neat. Yeah, that'd be neat. That'd be neat. Cool. I love it.
All right. Guys, the link to buy this book, whether you're one of the lucky ones to get the hardcovers, or you can buy it in ebook format down the road for your Kobos, Kindles, Amazon Fires. I don't know what you kids are using now. But for your pad, if you download it for your pad, it's well worth it. Reasonable priced, and you guys will love it. If you're fans of the game, you'll be fans of this book. Go check it out.
Oh yeah.
Am I wrong, Hollis?
No, you're excuse me. You're not wrong at all. I think that
never wrong.
You never. If you're a fan of Android, if you are a fan of the Android universe, this book is going to stick out to you, and I think that you are going to enjoy the way they have written these characters very much.
Fantasy Flight, bring on more of them. We want to hear.
Please.
Yeah, everyone wants to hear about spoilers for data packs now. Now start the countdown, right? When's the next book coming out? I need a spoiler. I need to make sure there's a couple more of these in the queue. Great work, guys. Great work, Lee. Appreciate it.